probably the truth. It's not the truth to me. I believe in evolution, adaptive radiative evolution. How we've started as something that was kind of monkey or ape-like, and eventually Homo sapiens became a dominant species of ape-like man on Earth, and we fanned out. As you can see with adaptive radiation evolution, birds have it. If they fly into a new area and they have to, over hundreds, thousands of years, they eventually have to change their body type. Their beaks start changing to get certain types of foods, and it happens. This is evolution. Humans, if we went from Africa all the way to the north, we needed less melanin in our skin because we had less sun and we were staying indoors all the time to stay warm when it was freezing cold out. And that's how sort of like the white genes started showing up over thousands of years, being departed from the equator. So I think it's a cultural thing, and I think people have read way too much into that creation myth. And, I think I believe in evolution.
That's amazing. Bill and Hunnigan, thank you. The time is running out here, but I just wanted to add the Gilgamesh story. As you know, Darcy continues that he's afraid of his own mortality and wants to ascribe toward immortality, but the whole connection there about how the whole world was formed, a great Mesopotamian story that people should study. Very interesting indeed. Darcy, with you're okay when we come back from this break at the bottom of the hour, I'd like to get into the conversation with you, your opinion of the Hellfire UAP strike video that's recently been out there. And we continue, ladies and gentlemen, with so many other subject matters. We'll be talking about this Bogosphere, the UFO incident in Colombia, this one near the town of Buga in, of course, Colombia. This ball seemingly flying across the sky, no wells, all kinds of markings on it, that and much more here on the Dr. Sky Experience, 1-800-848-9222. We will be right back.
D'Agostino, Law Fight Back. I'm injury attorney John Ryan D'Agostino, nicknamed The Closer, continuing D'Agostino and Associates' legacy of helping the injured for over 35 years. My father, John D'Agostino, built this injury firm to help accident victims.
This is John D'Agostino, and this is a family firm. For us, it's about doing what's right and making sure somebody pays for your pain. Call us first at 1-800-FIGHT-BACK. That's 1-800-248-3222.
Here's John Catsimatidis Jr. Are you paying too much for your home or business heating oil? My family owns and operates United Metro Energy, and we can offer you a lower price and better service right now. No other heating oil company can match our tremendous buying power. We own our own refinery, our own storage tank, and the largest fleet of company-owned trucks.
We get a 20 cents a gallon tax credit with United Metro Energy biofuel.
We're a community-conscious, family-run business. We're here for you 24/7. Contact me anytime.
Email john@umecny.com.
Now, the latest from the 77 WABC Newsroom. On Sid and Friends in the Morning, host Sid Rosenberg is always very proud to talk about his men's dinners.
An impressive bunch of New York guys, Lou, you should come too, Lou. They love you. They love you. Okay, well, I get told about it.
Well, how much fancy you need? You already plans? You were friends in 25 years.
Come when you go to Catatonia for Christmas.
The last plans I had, you're right, was a couple of years ago with you, probably.
No, they want you to come. I'm being serious. They love you.
I'm happy now, of course.
They didn't ask for no, they don't care.
These are the last place I'd want to go anyway.
Yeah, why? It's good, really.
I just don't care about that kind of thing.
You don't care about
Hanging out with a whole bunch of men while you smoke cigars and eat steak?
I don't smoke cigars because it's bad for my throat. I can't talk.
Yeah.
And we go for Italian food, not steak.
Oh, okay. Well, now I want to go.
And the whole men thing, what's so bad about having a bunch of men?
Changes everything.
Good to have a little man time once in a while.
Yeah, I got the Real Housewives of New Jersey to watch.
Oh, that's good stuff. Right.
When Sid isn't hanging out with the boys, his wife is prodding him over his health.
A lot of this is really my wife. She makes me nervous.
Yeah, well,
she's concerned.
Oh, no. They sent me home with a blood pressure machine when I went to the cardiologist.
You gotta be kidding me.
No, to do, monitor territory, it goes right to the office. And so what was funny is my wife was sitting next to me on the couch when I did it, and we would be way higher. There you go. That's right. I would leave the room. Right, don't be home. Yeah. Hey, don't be home. Look, it's a magic trick. You leave, I'll come back. The issue with me is if the soccer today says with something, or asked me to do something, I literally just figured out how to put batteries in my TV remote.
Gotta have money in the USA. Gotta have money.
Oh, here's the thing, quote, you guys are the definition of losers in my life.
Sid and Friends in the morning, weekdays from 6 to 10. James Flubbin for 77 WABC News.
This is the Dr. Sky experience. Always look to the sky. 77 WABC. Now, here's Dr. Sky. Hi, my name is Eric von Däniken. I'm from Switzerland, and I'm the author of books like Chariots of the Gods and many others. I am proud to be in the Dr. Sky show. Always watch the sky. The big mysteries and miracles are out there, and we always will be surprised. The Dr. Sky show is the best one in this belonging in this country.
From 1961 to 1965. Barney
All
and I
these
had not
people
seen
stopping
another
by.
A quote from the late Betty Hill, who in September of 1961, still, in my opinion and the opinion of many others, researched
Hacker TV. Oh, yeah. Hacker TV.
After the hour, our special guest, as we call him, a friend of the show, Darcy Weir, UFO researcher, documentarian. He continues to join us here. You know, Darcy, I wanted to get into
Hacker TV.
analysis of it. The Hellfire UAP video, allegedly October the 24th, 2024, released by Congressman Eric Burleson, and this coming from a whistleblower. Describe to us what this might be in your opinion. Many people have seen it, and many people are still scratching their head. What the heck could that be?
Right. So we're looking in this video at, first of all, it's shot in FLIR, which is forward-looking.
You got any complaints? You can complain to the complaint department. We got the complaint department ready. We're ready. They're open right now. You ready for the complaint department?
Separating objects and for craft to track things. It'll make things usually glow super white if it's an object of interest. That can be considered the white hot mode, or it can make them glow black, and that's black hot mode. So essentially, the footage was shot in
Entertain me, why don't you?
NQ9.
You entertain me.
You know, what you see earlier on in the footage is what looks like an orb, sort of a round object that
Sure looks like one,
white.
right?
Yeah. And the Hellfire missile just looks like a rod that eventually hits the orb. And from what I interpret, what I'm seeing with my own eye, and I've seen other UFO footage, I look at this, and to me, that looks like a soft target, meaning that looks like something that was punctured by the Hellfire missile. Meaning more like a balloon. I don't know what it exactly is, but the Hellfire missile just sails right through this thing and keeps going. It doesn't detonate. If it was a hard object, bet your ass that Hellfire missile is going to go off. So to me,
Bunch of boring users.
it didn't detonate.
You're all a bunch of boring users.
And it just didn't have the weight in order for it to detonate, and it just poked a hole through this thing. It almost looks like a fabric.
Oh, yeah. You're a bunch of boring users. Boring.
The weird thing that happens after that is you see three other objects kind of rotate out of that main object, and people say, oh, well, it creates a triangular formation. Well, here's the thing, guys. When something is static in space and it's three different points, it's always going to
You're
make
just
a
sitting there and staring at your phone screen, huh?
You can't make it. Yeah, because you've got have 3 points, right? And how many points are to a triangle?
Yeah, exactly. So you're looking at something here. I mean, one theory, I'm reading this too, and I'm not going to read it on the air. The balloon hypothesis you've talked about. Others say a classified military test in which we know what the source object was, doing some kind of test.
That's all you do. You sit there and you stare at your phone screen.
Military training event rather than a genuine UAP encounter. Sounds like the same thing. And also the strange theory again, which I know you can extrapolate on, the whole concept of it being something like a tic-tac type of vehicle. But I think you've shot holes in it, no pun intended, when you talked about the object looked like it went right through. I mean, the missile went right through the object, correct?
Yeah, it looked like a soft target to me. I mean, I would expect if it was something that was solid, the Hellfire missile would have detonated. We would have seen a big flash, an explosion, and then objects moving around, right? But this thing sort of just puncture and keep going. That's what I see. You know, if there's somebody that can give a way better analysis in the UFO UAP camp to prove me wrong about that, I'm all ears. I would love to hear how this is definitely a UFO.
Well, well-documented information, as you know, comes from the MUFON Journal. I'm looking at this here, the November 2025 edition, currently right hot off the press. And it goes through great detail, as you've explained here. But the one that really troubles me, and I've watched this, and I really certainly don't want to discount anybody's theories on it.
I got a watermelon one.
Around the Bogosphere, this UFO incident of an object over the...
I got a watermelon one.
If I'm pronouncing it correctly. The object itself, some 4.5 pounds.
What's the matter there? You're sitting staring at your TV screen, huh? Staring at your phone screen.
How the heck is the object moving around? Describe the experience of what this Bogosphere is.
Right. So it's a little metallic sphere that was found in Colombia, in this town near Boga. And I have challenges with this too. I hate to be the debunker of UFO things on a UFO-related show, but I've seen a lot about the Bogosphere since it first came out. The first 2 initial videos that were released looked very much like AI, okay? And, and what you see is a point of view of the sky and a metallic orb kind of hovering around and then going to the ground. And then you see a cut and footage of a man walking down a hillside and finding this orb on the ground, picking it up and being like, hurrah, I've got the UFO, right? But there were subsequent videos that came out after that in which the same group said they found more video of the same object flying in the sky. And this time, you actually see fishing line hanging in the sky and glimmering with the sun reflecting on it as it sails across the sky on camera. And that's when I said, okay, this is obviously a hoax. If it's the same team that produced this that captured the supposed UFO, I think this is a hoax. And then you look at the Bogosphere itself. Boga, I think, is how it's pronounced, but I like to call it the bogus sphere.
Oh boy!
That's a good one.
That has etchings in it that looks like, you know, your neighbor that does arts and crafts could do. You know what I mean? It does not look like the fine craftsmanship we would expect from the Zeta reports.
Oh boy!
I have seen doing these weird like tests on it and stuff, and when you look at it, it has all these scratches on it that it just looks like it's an art, a piece of art, you know, and a very crudely made one.
Oh yeah.
One of the major people to prop it up was Jaime Maussan. He's known for getting involved with, you know, highly dubious campaigns that
Oh yeah.
promote certain UFO stories, and they turn out to be major hoaxes. And Dr., or I'll call him Mr. Stephen Greer, because I don't even think he practices. And
well, this is interesting, and not to change the subject before we go to this last break. There's many interesting things. I've been.
Oh, there's a 5-second delay, huh?
Show, and I'm not just trying to disparage it. It was a long process, and it required some kind of verification and also some kind of financial contribution. And I was like, well, that's never happened with any guest I've had. And not to disparage $10,000.
Yeah, look at you, staring at your little phone screen, huh?
Not to be funny here. Maybe that
Look at all you staring at your little phone screen.
Lots of money at a Lloyd's of London auction. Look at all the notoriety that the thing has gotten, and obviously, who knows? Somebody will pay big for that, I'm sure.
You got it. You hit the nail on the head there. And I do a show with Fliss on Watch Mojo, which is one of the bigger YouTube channels out there, and we were talking about Age of Disclosure. We talked about how Stephen Greer was cut out of the film, and somebody that was very unhappy by my comments jumped on to the YouTube comments and said, I can't believe you guys didn't interview Greer, and why?
Yeah, you got the Hacker TV on your little phone screen.
Greer, and referring to me, Darcy Weir. And I replied to him, why don't you interview Greer? Do you think you can afford it? And is your audience big enough? Those are the two major prerequisites that have always kept me from speaking to him.
And actually, it'd be interesting. It'd be the Greer and Weir debate if we had this live on WABC. I mean, that'd be an interesting conversation.
Let's do it.
Yeah, there you go, my friend. That would be quite interesting. Not to cut anybody short, the contact number here, if you'd like to still join us, we have some time available for you, 1-800-848-9222. The mysteries of the universe are unfolding right before your eyes and ears, ladies and gentlemen.
Hey, what's the matter? Who's that? Is that Broke Boy? Is that you, Broke Boy? Are you proclaiming that you're broke to the world? Oh, no. Say it ain't so.
We'll be right back.
This is John Cassidy. When growing all of our companies, I never had a fancy advertising agency. I just used common sense. We have been certified by Nielsen to be the #1.
Oh, you got a broke back. I thought you said you got broke pants. You're broke in the pants. When you shove your hands in the pocket, what do you feel? When you shove your hands in the pockets, what do you feel there?
Company, a winner too.
5 a.m. on the 77 WABC News Hour, Weekend Edition. Talking the news with Lizzie Rodapolli.
The shooter of 2 National Guard members is now facing a murder charge.
Premeditated murder. There was an ambush with a gun toward people who didn't know it was coming.
Oh boy, you got problems, huh? You got problems.
Weekend Edition with Lizzie Rodapolli. Weekend mornings at 5.
You got all kinds of problems.
This is the Dr. Sky experience. Always look to the sky. 77 WABC. Now, here's Dr. Sky.
Amen.
This is simply a synthesis dance like the 9-1 supply a great deal if I always listen to Dr. Sky. Find out about the sky. Right out there.
I happen to be privileged enough to be in on the fact that we have been visited on this planet and the UFO phenomenon.
Lulu!
Those are the words of Dr. Edgar Mitchell.
Lulu, where are you, Lulu? Lulu!
Claim to have an extraterrestrial, no, more of an outer-body experience on the way to the moon. A man that founded an organization called the Noetic Institute and talked about how we're all connected in something called the quantum hologram.
Where are you, Lulu?
Where continues to the top of the hour.
Lulu!
You again can go to his website, occultjourneys.com. Darcy, I promised the audience a little sky report, as people do enjoy. They tell me about it in our emails at drsky@wabcradio.com. You know, folks, the moon is waxing, meaning it's getting brighter. It's moving on to a beautiful full phase. On December the 4th, we'll see another supermoon. This one called the Long Night Moon or the Cold Moon. It's a supermoon because it's closer than most moons of the entire calendar month. And if you're seeing the moon right now, as you're listening to this radio show, the Dr. Sky Experience, wherever you're listening, if the moon is up, take about 5 to 10
Are you asking me how my Thanksgiving was? My Thanksgiving was splendid.
416 million miles away from your
My Thanksgiving was splendid.
And then Jupiter, I should mention, also now in the northeast sky. Yet, as I made a mistake here, the planet Jupiter is 416 million miles away. And if you could journey on a light beam, it would take
You see that little stack I got over there?
Darcy Weir, let's talk about your...
That's a $100,000 stack I got over there.
Humanoids, the real close encounters, secret space UFOs. You have
Yoo-hoo!
Yeah, you know, I have been producing films
Yoo-hoo!
since 2012, and many of them are in the UFO realm. So if you want to check them out, I have a website, occultjourneys.com. And you can go through, look at the posters, click on a poster. Usually that'll take.
I think you guys don't know how to watch your telephone screens.
And you can watch.
I don't even think you know how to work your telephones.
Essentially, I've covered many different thin slices of the phenomenon and dissected stories.
Do you even know how to work your telephone?
Throughout the decade.
I don't think you know how to work your telephone.
Crop circles, UFOs on NASA space missions, UFOs in the oceans, USOs in that case, and corroborating testimony and evidence that goes with that footage. I'm a UFO video nerd, and you've heard me debunk a couple things tonight, but there are videos that I think are real. The Aguadilla 2013 footage.
Oh, yeah.
There's a 4-minute piece of video that came from Puerto Rico, from the Customs Border Patrol guy.
They don't even know how to work their telephone.
Puerto Rico's UAP. You can watch that on Amazon. You can watch that on my YouTube channel for free, and it will be showing up on other platforms as the time goes by. But yeah, I've produced a Bitcoin documentary. I've done stuff on cryptids, Bigfoot, and Sasquatch, which is essentially the same thing. I'm just interested in all of these things that are living on the fringe of a reality, and
that's amazing. I mean,
if any of them are real.
Yeah, and one of them I wanted to ask you about, because this is the strange.
Yeah, how do you work your telephone there?
Shows like this, and their interpretation is different of their answer.
You got to take a class to work your telephone, huh?
We all know Tommy Lee Jones. We know Will Smith. But on the real serious side of the equation, tell the audience about this phenomenon. And it's really a bizarre thing, ladies and gentlemen. Tell us about the Men in Black, as they're called.
Yeah, I think the real life Men in Black are people that come from different intelligence or law enforcement backgrounds, whether that's the FBI, the CIA, the Air Force Office of Special Investigations, NSA. All of these different agencies and enforcement apparatus within the United States send out their best men to intercept and prevent information from reaching the public. And in the film, Who Saw the Men in Black, we talk about encounters throughout history where people saw UFOs and they were quickly intercepted by these people that identified themselves from either an agency or a form of law enforcement that were basically saying, we need your evidence and we need you to shut up. Many of these people are very credible. They come from different walks some are pilots, some are.
Oh yeah, keep learning how to work your telephone.
There's people that we interview Richard Doty, who was responsible for basically gaslighting this individual named Paul Benowitz into thinking that there was aliens in the Gulf, New Mexico area working with humans at a base. And
I've heard of that one, right?
I think his real job there was to keep attention off of Kirkland. Is it Kirkland Air Force Base?
Yes, Kirkland Air Force Base with the nuclear weapon museum that they have there too, and the history of nuclear weapons, right?
Yeah, at the time, Benowitz had intercepted some communications and such from that air base, and that's when, he was intercepted by Office of Air Force, Office of Special Investigations, Richard Doty. And we interviewed him in the documentary. He defends himself, but then he also talks about the strategies that they could employ to get the information they wanted from a witness. I mean, it ranges, and it fits the description of what a man in black would do.
But Darcy, is there, and real quickly, because we're running out of time, and I love this conversation, I'd love to have it again, and I hope you'll come back, because we value the information you're giving us here. But here's the quick one. In the story of Men in Black, I've read all these reports of what these beings, or whatever they were, people, may have sounded as if they're like robots, and thus the connection. What do you think? That they are part of the extraterrestrial side of the whole thing? Any truth to that, or is that just a fiction tale?
Well, I mean, we cover a case of Albert K. Binder, who started the very first international UFO group for research back in the 1950s. He shut it down swiftly, and later in the 1960s, he wrote a book about how he was intercepted by these kind of ghoulish men in black that just appeared in his home. And they threatened him, and they said, "You're not to talk about this, and you can when we're done with what we're doing in the Antarctic." Now, whether that's true or not, I don't know, but it's one of these paranormal Men in Black experiences that people have had, and that is a non-human intelligence sort of linked story, right, where they have some kind of means or motives here, and they don't want to jeopardize those, so they intercept witnesses and shut up, And maybe it's true. Maybe it's true.
You never know, Darcy, but keep the fires going, because it's incredible. I mean, talking about this stuff. Again, ladies and gentlemen, The Age of Disclosure, a film by Dan Farrar. That's something that's popular in the news. Equally popular is our very special guest, Darcy Weir. His website, occultjourneys.com, a plethora of information there. And that's amazing. So about how long does it really take? I mean, that's kind of a generic question. To actually go from start to finish on these documentaries. I mean, if you had an average time to produce these things, you take your time to do it right. But what are you talking about? Years to do these, or not quite?
I mean, some longer than others. I just finished one that I started shooting in 2021. So that's a 4-year doc. There's other docs that I've done in maybe 2 years or a year and a half. It just depends on if I get the testimony I want to tell the story, as well as edit and get all of the, post and stuff done that can tell the story properly. So it ranges.
Amazing, Darcy. And one thing I say, it would be amazing if this President Donald John Trump, had the opportunity to make the revelation that all these things over the last 80 years are true, and then supplying us with the evidence. Am I a dreamer? But I think it would be a great opportunity for any president, but this current president, I think that would really change the course of history on the answer. Why are we not being told the truth? And hopefully get that. Your take on that real quick.
Well, I think it's definitely on his radar. He's seen it appear on Fox News all this week with the Age of Disclosure. Many different speaking moments where the people said, you know, Donald Trump has the ability to announce to the world, to the public, that we're not alone if he wants to. And he's been briefed by military pilots and all these credible people that have also been featured in the documentary. So I think he knows about it, but he's said publicly before that he's not fully convinced that it's a real thing and that he even cares about it. So I don't think he's going to be the disclosure president. You know, we'll see if the Epstein files come out in their full form.
It's amazing. Darcy Weir, thank you so much for being with us and staying up with us as we move deeper into our Saturday morning here on Talk Radio 77 WABC with the Dr. Sky Experience. And folks, if you hadn't been able to get in, we always continue on in future iterations with you. If you'd like to email me with your questions and comments, it's just DRSKY, of course, at WABCRadio.com. Darcy, thank you. The best of the holiday season to you, and let's get together sometime and redo this and enlighten our audience on what's really going on. Thank you for your time.
You bet. Yeah, thank you for having me, man.
It's always a privilege and honor. Well, ladies and gentlemen, as you may know, the last Saturday of every month, we are pre-recorded because of my duties on an interesting dinner cruise on something called the Dolly Steamboat in Arizona. A beautiful cruise into the dark skies of Arizona. If you're ever interested in headed out this way, just check out dollysteamboat.com. And a special thanks, and of course, the shout-outs and of the sincerity to owner and operator John Katsimatidis, and from the executive staff, Chad Lopez, for permitting me to be behind this microphone. A dream of a lifetime, ladies and gentlemen. I'm hoping that you're enjoying this just the same. In the future months, we will continue, ladies and gentlemen, talking about many, many interesting topics. And don't forget, we also delve into the subject of American exceptionalism. I myself, like many of you who spent time in the military and even in the law enforcement realm, have so many stories to talk about truth, justice, and the American way. And again, our special thanks to our navigators, the helmsmen, who make this show possible. Again, they do the hard work behind that microphone and behind the big board, to Tony and Bill. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Hope you had a great Thanksgiving. And let's all remember, what are we thankful for as we move into the holiday season? And let's help out those who are less fortunate than us. Blessings, peace and happiness, and clear skies. We'll see you next time.
This is New York's talk leader, the crown jewel of talk radio. WABC New York, WRCR Haverstraw, 107.1 WLIR Hampton Bays. News first at 59 past the hour. 77 WABC News starts now.
I'm not entertained.
29th. Good morning. I'm Lisa Ritchie. National Guard.
You telephone users are not entertaining me.
After a gunman shot her and another.
None of you telephone users are entertaining me. You're all boring. You're not entertaining me. You're all boring. It's boring.
We still have hope. He's still in critical condition. We're doing everything we can to assist his family and to make sure that they have everything they need during this difficult time for them. We are
boring. You're not entertaining me.
Afghan national who worked with the U.S. to fight the Taliban is still hospitalized as well. A close aide of Ukrainian President Zelensky has resigned after anti-corruption agencies
very, very boring.
At his home. Now, former chief of staff to the president, Andrei Yermak, has been leading Ukraine's delegation during peace talks recently to end the war with Russia. An investigation was announced 2 weeks ago into an alleged scheme related to Ukraine's energy infrastructure. A pair of mysterious deaths are under investigation at a popular hotel casino in New Jersey. James Flippin reports.
The grisly discovery was made last weekend inside a hotel room at the Borgata Hotel, Casino, and Spa in Atlantic City's Marina District. Both of the victims from New York. Autopsies revealed that 36-year-old Bao Yi Bowie Zhang of Staten Island died from a broken neck.
The 68-year-old man that she was found with, Wei Guo Liang of Brooklyn, died of self-inflicted stab wounds. Cops listed those as the basic facts. The rest of the situation still being pieced together. James Flippin for 77 WABC News.
The NYPD continues searching for a number of suspects after 7 people were shot across New York City in a 4-hour span. Authorities say an 18-year-old man and woman were shot in Brooklyn just after 7:20 p.m. Wednesday. Then, around 9:40 p.m. on Reiner Avenue in the Bronx, 2 men were injured by gunshots. The third shooting left a 22-year-old man and a 25-year-old woman wounded in the Melrose section of the Bronx nearly 2 hours later. Cops say the fourth incident happened just after 11:15 p.m. in Astoria, Queens, when a man was grazed in the head outside of a parking garage. All victims are expected to survive. New Jersey Governor-elect Mikey Sherrill has put together a transition team and task force consisting of more than 400 people as she gets ready to leave the Garden State. She assigned transition team members to what she calls action teams for certain areas, including lowering housing costs, making energy more affordable, and affordable health care. A record number of shoppers are expected to kick off the holiday shopping season and hit the stores in search of deals this Black Friday. The National Retail Federation says holiday spending is expected to surpass $1 trillion, but not everyone is counting on Black Friday sales.
Honestly, I buy stuff all the time. I don't know.
Oh yeah. Where's the entertainment here? How come none of you are entertaining me?
Cheap prices, deals, just anything that looks good for a cheap price.
Despite the deals on Friday, nearly 74 million are projected to look for deals on Cyber Monday. Some of your favorite stores in Manhattan.
Random telephone users. Random telephone users.
H&M will close 2 large Manhattan stores, the downtown H&M on Church Street and the one on East 86. The Saks Off Fit store on East 57th Street will be replaced by a Chelsea Piers Fitness. The Post also reports the future of the famed Roosevelt Hotel is uncertain. It's empty again in the East 40s, where businesses have moved to new office developments near Grand Central Terminal. Joe Connolly, 77 WABC News.
In sports, the Giants hope their rookie quarterback can suit up for Monday's showdown. Jackson Dart cleared concussion protocol yesterday. The 25th overall pick in April's draft missed the last 2 games after suffering the injury earlier this month against the Bears. Your forecast overnight looks clear but breezy with a low down to 33 degrees. Later today, bright sunshine and the high just 43. And the outlook for Sunday, cloudy skies, occasional rain and drizzle by the afternoon, and the high about 48 degrees. Partly cloudy skies outside of our Midtown studios right now. I'm Lisa Ritchie. Remember, the news never stops at WABCRadio.com.
Coming up at 5 a.m. on the 77 WABC News Hour, Weekend Edition. Talking the News with Lizzie Rodapolli.
The shooter of 2 National Guard members is now facing a murder charge.
Premeditated murder. There was an ambush with a gun toward people who didn't know it was coming.
We have the latest on that and more coming up at 5.
The 77 WABC News Hour, Weekend Edition with Lizzie Rodapolli. Weekend mornings at 5. 77 WABC. 1, 2, 3, 4. 77 WABC weekends meet the best talk during the day. They're actually doing the people's business. And the best music at night. With Cousin Brucey, Joe Piscopo, Tony Orlando, and Vinny Matugno. Plus, overnight, it's another side of midnight with TJ McCormack.
Yes, let's go.
And so much more.
Good morning, family. Hello there. TJ McCormick here on another side of midnight here on the Red Apple Audio Networks, coming to you from the studios of 77 WABC. Thanks in advance to Tony and Bill for looking after me this morning, and thanks to you for being here this morning. And 1-800-848-9222, 1-800-848-9222. I don't really tend to go politics per se. I don't really, you just dive into news with this program and with you family. It's kind of, no, it's TJ thinking, and hey, what happened to me this afternoon or this morning, and how does that feed into some radio stuff? And I just, the entire
all you telephone users aren't entertaining at all.
Friday,
You're boring.
and preparing eventually to come in and do this show this Saturday morning. And on the ride in to Manhattan, I just kept thinking how unbelievably dopey, like, not politically wrong or how dopey, how thick and impressionable.
Boring. You're boring.
And here comes the next word. Democrats are in America. The fact that you moron
Boring.
vote for some of the sickest, forget reprehensible. There are so many jerks out there. You want to say that Donald Trump
You're about as entertaining as a burnt out light bulb.
that he's whatever, that he's crass and brusque and abusive. He's calling reporters stupid. They are. He's calling reporters piggies. I mean, I love it. He's unconventional. We know exactly who he is, what he is. He made his way in New York, from Queens into Manhattan. Yeah, he started with his dad's money, but his dad was a billionaire. Dad was a really well-off real estate developer. He built apartment buildings and stuff like that. So just stop. The thing is that there are Republicans. There has been so much infighting on the Republican side. There are Republicans that I encountered over the course of, I do some consulting, I do some Republican consulting and conservative politicians and elected officials. And over the last couple of elections, ever since Trump emerged, there has been a regular presence of never Trumpers and oh my God Trumpers, and I'm disgusted with Trumpers and in the Republican Party. And this, I mean, look, where did Matt Gaetz go? There's George Santos. Wait, Marjorie Taylor Greene. There's detractors, there's supporters. My congressman and a friend and a former colleague, Mike Waller. He's Rhino Mike. He's MAGA Mike. He's in bed with Trump. He doesn't think for himself. He's great. He gets it done. He's magnanimous. He's too bipartisan. There is so much intellectual honesty. You cannot swing a dead cat in Washington without hitting a Republican who thinks for himself. And yet you Democrats will vote for any dope, any half-wit, any anti-Semite, any communist that is put in front of you. New York, California, Massachusetts, Illinois, it's absolutely maddening. And if I'm sounding like angry and I'm actually not. I'm flabbergasted. Now, what brings on? What? Why? Okay, I'll tell you why. As we've been digesting the news that Sarah Beckstrom, the 20-year-old National Guardsman, who succumbed to her injuries over the last, now, 30 hours? 30-something hours? 36 hours. As we've been soaking that up and sort of deconstructing it, and hearing Trump get tough, and hearing Hegseth get tough, and hearing Trump get his plans in order, we hear just how right Trump has been all this time, going all the way back to 2021, talking about the ridiculous exit from Afghanistan. And then, like the icing on the cake, every once in a while, just when you think the dopiest of them, the most reprehensible, stupid of the Democrats is like, you think, oh wow, are they kind of like, is she sort of like just
Oh boy.
right now?
Yeah, look at you. You came back, huh?
And today,
You came back? Entertain me, boy.
PWS. It was Debbie Wasserman Schultz. That one was that one just unappealing, awful, vile, vindictive. She's got like 17 more teeth in her mouth than her face can accommodate. Her tongue is constantly fighting with her teeth to get words out, along with way too much spit in her mouth. She's just impossible to listen to, so I apologize in advance for when we play the clips. But Wasserman Schultz, who
can't even entertain me,
who was found to be playing with the DNC. I mean, she was booted as chair of the DNC years ago for playing fast and loose with what the Democrats wanted in the presidential primary, what they were going to do. But she reared her head on Friday, her ridiculous, nasty, ugly head, to say stupid, vapid things. Completely counterintuitive, completely unconstructive, non-constructive, not very helpful. Amateur positions that she took on this situation with Afghan refugees. So let's take it with cut 10 if we can. Cut 9, excuse me. Let's start with cut 9, and we'll roll through these. I very rarely do this at the top of a show, but let's just set the record. Here you go. Let's cut number 9, please.
As you may know, DHS has confirmed that the suspect is an Afghan national, flown here by the previous administration, who was such a bad administration. And I have a picture of a plane. This is what it looked like when they came in. It was total bedlam. You remember that period of time? Total bedlam. People crammed onto the plane. And the toughest, meanest, most capable physically.
Total bedlam.
Plane, not the people that we were looking for or that they wanted to bring in. Here's a picture for you. Just take a look at that plane. Standing on top of each other, sitting on top of each other. This is what we had under the Biden administration. That whole thing should have never, ever happened. They should have left from a different base. They should have left from Bagram, as you know, and it would have been a much different story.
Total bedlam.
They didn't do that, and this was just a rout, just a terrible situation. This heinous atrocity reminds us that we have no greater national security priority than ensuring that we have full control over the people that enter and remain in our country. For the most part, we don't want them. They come in illegally. They have a lot of problems. Their countries force them in because their countries are smart. They don't want them. Let's give them to the Americans to take care of. They come out of jails in many cases. mental institutions, the gang members, the drug dealers. We don't want them.
What is wrong with that? What is so factual? What is factually incorrect about that? What do you not like about your president? What he's saying there? And now, as I say that, understand there are Republicans all over the country who at least have the intellectual honesty that are probably saying, God, I wish he would get to the point and just stick to it. God, I wish he would just sort of narrow it down. I wish he was a bit more like, a politician type. I wish he was a bit more disciplined. And, he goes on, he doesn't have to, why does he always have to say drug dealers and this, why does he have to show that, I get it. And that dissent, that intellectual honesty is completely missing on the other side. When is the last time you heard a Democrat speak out against the absolute dimwit, dolt embarrassment that is Jasmine Crockett? Talking about people who talking about elected officials who need to be, knocked upside the head, and calling a paraplegic Governor Hot Wheels, man in a wheelchair, Greg Abbott, who, in the cruelest twist of fate, was out for a run.
You're very unentertaining.
On a paralyzing, out for a run, and this vile pig, Crockett,
Very unentertaining.
with the Governor Hot Wheels, nary a Democrat. It comes out. If there were one or two and I missed them, I apologize. But you know what? It's not enough. 1-800-848-9222. 1-800-848-9222. But really, man, just absolutely an embarrassment. Because, again, Trump here is right. And here you go. And if you don't mind, I know you're doing double duty right now, buddy, but Bill, can you give me cut number, we'll jump to 14. Cut number 14, can you do that for me, please, buddy? Thank you. And my thanks to Rita Cosby, by the way, using a couple of her audio cuts. So I'm grateful to her for allowing me. Yeah, 14. I'm reading Bill's lips through the glass. 14. Or we could, I don't know, is it, if you got, you know what, you can actually do, if you see 11, hit me with 11. All right, go big.
Would an individual have flown across the country
Here's
to
Washington.
target law enforcement officers in Washington, D.C.? And, the answer is likely no. So why wasn't the president's first thought, wow, maybe I should reconsider deploying military troops in the nation's capital or in any city, particularly not when they haven't coordinated closely with the leadership of these cities.
You see? Okay, now listen to the genius. Okay, again, it's Debbie Wasserman Schultz. And by the way, again, as she talks, listen, doesn't it sound like she's got 3 sets of teeth in her mouth? Here's clip number 12. Here's cut 12.
We need to make sure that we have tight and appropriate and proper vetting. If there were gaps,
Very unentertaining.
He would have failed over multiple levels of gaps, and this individual was trusted enough to participate in assisting our military during the war in Afghanistan. So I just think, the president looked everywhere except inward to blame his own policy.
Yeah, you were supposed to entertain me, and you're a failure. You're a failure at entertaining me. You failed. You are a total failure.
We certainly need to make sure we always have the proper and appropriate and tight vetting processes.
Boring.
But it's never the president's fault or his policies when it comes to his reaction, and it's pretty disgusting.
She's disgusting. Debbie Wasserman Schultz is, in fact, the embodiment of human disgusting. And the folks in Fort Lauderdale and in that area who vote for her, you idiots. You are terrible neighbors of ours. You are absolutely insidious Americans. I mean, shame on you. Because you know what? The reason, you know why, just as a reminder, the reason that he deployed, and he is totally within his rights, the reason, Washington, D.C. is a city under federal control. He is absolutely, completely within his right to deploy the National Guard there. You don't think there's not 8,000 judges in this country ready to stop everything he wants to do? Yeah.
We got another one we'll put on the block list. We got a number retard.
Who said that, look, I mean, she warmed up to it real quick. As soon as those numbers dropped, violent crime dropped precipitously. Carjackings. Washington, D.C. was to carjackings what L.A. is to car chases. Like, I don't know what it is about D.C. and carjackings, but boy, oh boy, it's like, that's where you go. You wanna get rid of your car? I got a jacked up car that I'm looking to get rid of. If I can get it down to D.C., man, well, not anymore because they stopped. But to hear that dope, Wasserman Schultz, about, giving some lip service to the vetting process, she again, a bit of lip service, like she can afford any lip that's not trying to wrap around that massive gob of teeth of hers. But for her, she pays that lip service to the vetting process, the vetting process, and then she just goes and assails something that's one of the most common sense things any president has ever done. In terms of, and he did it for all the right reasons. He said, look, back in Washington, people are getting carjacked, people are getting murdered. Those two beautiful young lives. What precipitated this move to send in the Guard into Washington? One of the things was the murder, the assassination of two beautiful young Jewish lives, two young beautiful people to be wed in Israel, two young workers at the Israeli embassy. And where was Debbie Wasserman Schultz, a Jewish representative? Where was Wasserman Schultz on that? I was going to say she whistling Dixie, but I doubt she can whistle as she contends with those massive teeth of hers. Whistle while you work, Debbie. I'm trying. God, I hate her. I hate her. And what else? Carjackings. One of the guys from Trump's Doge team. Tell you what, you want to get Trump's attention? You want to get Trump to move? Hurt young people. This guy has got, I tell you, man, the young couple murdered, his young staffer from Doge. I don't like his nickname. I think it's kind of gross to say his nickname, but, it was a little anatomical joke. This guy who was on the Musk's Doge team. Young kid, bloodied in a carjacking. And between that and the fact that Washington had just become like a little mini San Francisco. I mean, you ask anybody, you take the train into what used to be a glorious Union Station in Washington, and you come out, and like, Union Station is just so perfectly placed. You come out, and you're like right there, a brisk little walk to Capitol Hill, and it's this wonderful vista of the town. It's kind of, if I remember correctly, it's a little bit raised. It's right there. Perfect, gorgeous. It became a homeless encampment. Crazy, dangerous people all over the place. And Trump was like, you know what? No more. And now he's got a 20-year-old National Guardsman Sarah is dead. And her colleague, her comrade, pretty sure his name is Andrew Wolf, forgive me. He's fighting for his life. And you Democrats will keep voting for. I get it. 1-800-848-9222. I get it. I understand progressivism. And I understand when you feel like you're on the side of the angels. I understand seeing a bigger role for government, believing that government, with its collective buying power and its collective, the weight of a government can serve the people. I get it on a very elementary level and a very street level, on a very pedestrian. I understand why Democrats are Democrats. And yes, Republicans would kind of stick to just sort of being Republican. And I tell you, again, is Trump finally following through? I mean, decades and decades of Republicans had been running on cutting back, if not eliminating, the Department of Education. Just this massive sponge of money. This almost like a black hole for tax dollars. And lo and behold, here he comes, and he says, you know what? I mean, we may not get it completely eliminated, but we're going to look at it. I'm going to make Linda McMahon the secretary. We're going to look at this, and we're going to aim to shut it down. But even if we just get close and knock it down and let this money, because mainly what they do is collect money and send it to the states. Let's send the money directly to the states and get rid of this bloat. So, again, I get that stuff. My problem is it's the Democrats that you're willing to just blindly support. I live in Westchester County, just outside of Manhattan. And when I tell you that genuinely, it's basically a 3-1 county, Democrat to Republican. Supermajority in the in the Board of Legislators, supermajority New York State, supermajority in Albany, in both houses of the legislature. Same thing in Massachusetts, same thing in California, same thing in Illinois, same thing in Oregon, same thing in Washington State. And even with that supermajority, still, some of the stupidest, some of the most stupid elected officials I have ever encountered who do terrible things in their constituency to their constituents. And they thrive in their elected office simply because there is a D after their name. And just like that old saying about an indictment, you can elect a ham sandwich if it's a Democrat in any of these states. I mean, dopey. And these days, what are Democrats rooting for? What are they standing for now? Are they standing for the little guy? Are they standing for American small businesses? No. That entire government shutdown was all about healthcare for illegals, healthcare for people who are here illegally. That was all about more social safety net for people who don't even pay into the system, who are in a state of breaking the law. Now I'm looking after you. 1-800-848-9222. 1-800-848-9222. Can't Democrats just be Democrats? Republicans, I think, are doing their best to be Republican. All right, it's 32 minutes past the hour. We shall take a break. When we come back, your calls, 1-800-848-9222. It's Another Side of Midnight with me, TJ McCormick, on the Red Apple Audio Network.
It's Another Side of Midnight.
If you want real American beef, born, raised, and processed in the USA, then you want Freedom Farms. No imports, no fillers, just farm fresh beef from upstate New York. Shipped nationwide. Stock your freezer with an entire cow or a half of a cow. Or grab just a box of premium steaks and burgers. Right now, new customers get $25 off with promo code MAGA. Go to WeFreedomFarms.com. Use code MAGA for $25 off. That's promo code MAGA. Freedom Farms. America's beef delivered. This holiday season, some children will wake up to quiet homes and nothing under the tree. Since 1947, the Marines and volunteers for Toys for Tots have delivered more than 700 million toys, bringing joy, dignity, and hope to children in need across America. Your gift of a new unwrapped toy or a donation online reminds every child they are seen, valued, and loved. Because every child deserves a little Christmas. Visit toysfortots.org to give today. It's the holiday season. Step into comfort with dress shoes, winter boots, or high-quality sneakers. And give the perfect gift this year at Eric Comfort Shoes. With Black Friday savings up to 40% off, all boots drastically reduced. Visit their flagship store, 426 Hillside Avenue in Williston Park, Long Island. All major brands, full range of sizes, widths from 4 to 18, narrow to extra wide. Shop in-store or online. Free shipping and free returns throughout New York, New Jersey, and Connecticut. Go to ericshoes.com. That's ericshoes.com. Remember, life is a journey. Wear comfortable shoes. Hi, my name is Vinny Medunio, and Saturday at 5 p.m., I kick off Music Radio 77 WABC by playing the best music, getting you ready for Cousin Brucey at 6. Plus, I open up the Bible vault, dusting off treasures and spinning the gems. So join me, Vinny Medunio, on the dance floor with the best music on the best station.
It's Another Side of Midnight.
Political humorist TJ McCormick.
Now, to the Bernard McGurk Studios,
Here's TJ McCormack.
I'm searching 1,000 dreams. Surrounded by a million screams. I can hear the marching feet. Moving into the street. I need you in the news today. They say the danger's gone away. But I can see the fire still light. Burning into the night. There's too many people, too many problems.
There you go. Good morning, friends. We are back. Thank you, Tone. Good stuff, baby. And it's 36 minutes past the hour. I mean, I'm talking about dopey Democrats and the dopey Democrats that elect them. And I mean, I'm living in a state that just in no particular order. In no particular order, this is here in New York, and look, in California, entire neighborhoods and towns were burned down in the last calendar year. Like, literally, Pacific Palisades went up in smoke. Malibu went up in smoke. Los Angeles was alight with fire. And the mayor was in Ghana for a wedding. She was in Ghanasville. The dopey governor's walking around, preening like a peacock, making excuses. And the two, if he wasn't term limited, Gavin Newsom, who came into office with a massive budget surplus, is leaving with a massive budget deficit. And that dope, that empty suit, that Karen Bass, you take one look at that woman with her dopey smile, I mean, vacant. You look at her, into her eyes, vacant. You know nobody's there. You know it. She had no excuse. She was thrown into a corner by Trump talking about rebuilding these houses, get rid of the permit process, get those guys in there, get the demo going, let these people rebuild. Yes, we will. Yes, we will. What's happened? Zippity do nothing, nada. Nothing's happening there. And so here, just based on my personal experience here, okay, in New York, and if this rings a bell anywhere where you're listening around the country, 1-800-848-9222. And again, in no particular order, this is just, I'll throw this Democrat spaghetti against the wall. And in New York State, again, every single statewide office is a Democrat. Every committee and commission is populated by appointees by the dopey Democrat governor, Hochul, another vapid, vacant vessel. Okay? Appointed by her and approved by the dummies in the Assembly and the Senate. We have it here in New York State. We have an Assembly and a Senate. It's just like the House and the Senate in Washington, the co-equal branches, all that stuff. And so in this state, we've got, again, over the last few years, we have, we're shutting down nuclear power plants where entire regions, for no reason, with no plan. By the way, shut down a nuclear power plant because a couple of special interest groups said we don't want the power plant anymore. So they come in, it was Cuomo, comes in and shuts it down with no plan, removing 25% of the electricity for a big region right here, all surrounding New York City, for example, okay? They knock out 25% of the electricity with no plan to replace it that's clean. They eventually, and by the way, it was a bunch of environmental lunatics who were demanding the shutdown of that clean energy, clean nuclear energy. And what did they do? First of all, they didn't replace that whole 25%, but what little bit of electricity they have been able to claw back has been coming from, yes, fossil fuels, natural gas, coal plants, all around the state, and they're like wiring that electricity into this region. What else do they do? Bail reform. Knocking down bail reform, turning police stations and judges in jail, courts and jails into revolving doors with no cash bail. Criminals, violent criminals, are turned out. People get 2/3 of these, 90% of these criminals, these miscreants on subways and on sidewalks here in New York. You read about it literally every single day. They've got rap sheets, 30, 40, 70 arrests. It happens in Illinois, it happens in Massachusetts, it happens in California. And the people that do this to them, and again, if you live in one of those states, you live in New York, you live in California, you live in Massachusetts, something that you don't like about your state, something that's not good about your way of life, is completely 100% the fault of a Democrat. There's nobody else, no other party to point to. They are in control. And you know what? They want you dumb and they want you broke. It's one thing to have that conviction that government is good. It's one thing to have that. And again, I understand it. I can see the logic. And I think it's noble to have a conviction that you want to help people, and if you really, honestly, earnestly, genuinely believe that the best way to do it is to use the buying power and the collective wisdom and punch and strength of a government, I get where you can be that way and think that way. But doing it in an insidious way, by releasing the hounds of criminals, turning them out to upend society, which is what bail reform did to New York State. Again, Andrew Cuomo. And by the way, that loss of energy, now New York State sits here with people trying desperately to pay their electric bills. And here we come another winter. We're going to be a lot of people, no gas, because they can't pay for their electricity, for their heat. But yeah, there's the other insidious way that they want to ensure that the government maintains control in places like New York, Massachusetts, Illinois, California. They want you dumb and they want you broke. New York, I every time I go, you know, it's amazing. It's amazing to see all the legal weed dispensaries and to know that it was rolled out with no plan. And I get it. I get the idea of cannabis and marijuana, whatever you want. I get it. I never had a problem with medical marijuana. I understand it works miracles. Cannabis oil and CBD and all that THC does wonders for people suffering with it through chemotherapy and people with seizures and even children. So I know there are miracles that can be turned from medical marijuana and its derivatives. But ever since weed has rolled out, and I get it for adults and I get it for people who are hardworking and okay, if you're gonna go have booze, it's just as dangerous or it's more dangerous, it's whatever, addictive. I get it. But more and more medical studies, because again, they did this legalizing of recreational marijuana with no plan. Still, I believe to this day, there is no feasible, reliable way to determine if someone is under the influence of marijuana while driving a car. Other than they wrap their car around a telephone pole or kill a family of 3. So there's that. But they did it with no plan. They did it with no plan in terms of, they also put it out there, legalized pot dispensaries. They screwed up the formula to determine distance between a dispensary and a school. Dopey Democrats. And that's because also in these supermajority situations, places where, like New York, Illinois, Massachusetts, California, the notion of checks and balances is absolutely gone. America and our government is built on what? Checks and balances, right? You heard about it ever since you took your first civics class, your first social studies class. You heard about American history. Checks and balances. That does not exist. There's not even accountability. These dopey Democrats go through and make laws and rules and regulations based on what makes them feel good, and the last voice whispering in their ear, which is all too often a lobbyist or a donor, they'll go ahead and do that regardless, because there's nobody saying, hey, you know what, wait, let's think about that. There's nobody other than a Republican, a Republican voice in the Democrat wilderness in a place like Albany or Sacramento or is it Springfield? Is that the capital of Massachusetts? Whatever. That's aside from those voices of reason that every once in a while, like in Horton Hears a Who, Dr. Seuss, we shouldn't do this. And it doesn't go in it, and it just, some of the most reprehensible, stupid. What followed legal weed here in New York State? Legalized mobile gambling. Which has, so now it's on phones. Basically, take that heroin-like addiction and just give these people not a needle, but just an IV drip that they can walk around with. Put the gambling in their pocket. Dopey New York. dumb and broke. All right. I got to take a quick break. I see you all there. We're going to come back. Absolutely jump on the phones. 47 minutes past the hour. 1-800-848-9222. It's another side of midnight with me, TJ, on the Red Apple Audio Network.
It's another side of midnight. At Shriners Children's, every day brings hope and healing to patients facing complex medical conditions. From groundbreaking research to compassionate care, they help children regardless of the family's ability to pay or insurance status. That's kids like Fippen, so he can be more independent. Here's Fippen, talking about a few things he loves about Shriners Children's.
Shriners has just helped me a lot, and I'm thankful for them. So many wheelchairs, so much great food in the cafeteria. I love the food in the cafeteria. It's because of all the donations that people give Shriners to help other kids in need. It's just amazing because when I come here, I feel like I belong.
Together, we can all make a difference by calling 1-800-276-8007 or going online to loveshriners.org to give. Again, go to loveshriners.org now to give. Listen to this podcast now on the Red Apple Podcast Network. Positively Earning, the podcast. I want you to meet Joan London. If you were to give advice to a young person, whether they're going into the broadcasting business or not, something that you have gained your experience through life, what little nugget would you share with somebody and say, this is what I think you should think about?
First of all, you got to be open to opportunities because people hear them all the time, but like they think, oh, maybe for somebody else. Don't sell yourself short. Here's my motto that I've somehow came by early on and have lived by ever since. Whenever anyone asks you if you can do something, just say yes. And then go figure out how to do it. Just because you haven't done it before, when you think about your capabilities, don't just think about what you're doing right now and what you've done in the past. Think about all the things that you might be good at if you just had the opportunity to try it.
Download all of Red Apple Media's podcasts right now through your favorite podcast platform. It's another side of midnight.
Political humor is TJ McCormick.
Now, to the Bernard McGurk Studios, here's TJ McCormack.
That's Tony's face.
Vote for me and I'll set you free. Come on, brother. The only person talking about love now, brother, is the preacher. And it seems nobody's interested in learning but the teacher.
I am tipping my cap.
Segregation, determination, demonstration, integration, aggravation, and then hate. Obligation to our nature.
Unbelievable. Tony is absolutely killing it. And nothing could be more true. I am telling you, I have met so many elected officials. And look, there are Republicans that I would never work for again. There are Republicans who have absolutely stabbed their constituents in the back, and I've seen it right before my eyes. I have seen Republicans chicken out. I have seen Republicans do the wrong thing, and I either would vote against them, I'd support a primary against them, I certainly wouldn't work for them. There's two that I can name right now. I won't, but because they're not in office anymore. But if they ever, one's in office, so there's three. And I wouldn't work for them. I wouldn't do it. Let's get over to Silas, line 1. Good morning. Welcome to the show. Thanks for hanging in there, Silas.
Yeah.
Hi, buddy.
As far as the dopey Democrats, why is it me and you can see how corrupt they are?
I know.
But yet other people can't. One, because the enemy of this country, the enemies of this country have got one almost insurmountable weapon against us, and that's stupidity and greed. And it's hard to overcome.
Yes.
I wouldn't have voted for Cuomo for any reason, because he's still a part of the Democrat Party. If this country doesn't get off the plantation, get rid of them, then we're still in trouble. We've seen, like you said, every stupid thing that they've done is from a Democrat. Why would you close down a plant? You should have been building small nuclear plants all around. And then they also do not like America. There are good billionaires. Donald Trump, there are good billionaires. John Catsimatidis. And then there are evil ones who want to take us down. So we've got all of those things that we're fighting against. Now you take, why is it, there are Republicans who are making a fortune on insider trading, but they don't hate the country.
Right.
Look at Michael Francese. You want to go to the Made Men? He was making money.
Right.
But he didn't hate this country.
Right.
And then you'll never see a Democrat say, oh, there are too many criminals in the street. They'll say there's too many guns. They'll say there's but they won't say there's too many criminals. Our police catch these criminals, and who puts them back on the street? A Democrat.
Democrat judges, Democrat legislators, Democrat. It was Cuomo was the architect, as Curtis said, the architect and the what did he call Mamdani? I don't know, not the intern, but
the apprentice.
The apprentice, right. The architect and the apprentice. Yeah.
And the Republicans have got a great opportunity now, but they always blow it.
Yeah.
First of all, I want signs all over New York saying, "Where's my free stuff?"
Yep.
And then I want everyone to freeze the prices of things right now. I'm glad that they're using the word affordability.
Right.
Because nothing will go down in price. Your rent's not going to go down. Your taxes are not going to go down. The price of food may go down a little because.
Because market right.
And
that's all the entire other. Silas, let me jump over to Tony real quick. Tony in Clifton. Good morning.
Hi, TJ.
Hey.
Great topic tonight. Thank you. What I want to say is with the seditious six, and then what they were saying about our president, I had to just sit before this even happened with the National Guard, and I thought, what were they thinking during Afghanistan when we saw President Biden just sitting there falling asleep, with the bodies, the 13, and what were they thinking about making him, questioning him? There was no questioning of him. There's nothing happened to him, and yet for President Trump, so their rhetoric is just so ridiculous. And any of us who work in a workplace environment who speak like they do would lose our jobs. So they've got it made. No one has really. The speaker doesn't question them. Senator Thune doesn't question them. For some reason, it's all being controlled right now. I don't know why, but it is.
Yeah, I tell you what. I wonder if maybe because it really is sedition. I wonder. You know what I mean? If it would actually stick, and it would. I wonder if they're like, well, we just cannot afford to have, a trial for sedition in this country right now. Maybe that's why. Maybe they're scared to follow it through.
Well, if you think about it, everything the Democrats do is just it flies, and no one ever says you got to this to stop with this.
Well, it's because, and this is where the unholy alliance between the massively majority mainstream media, other than the Fox, the Newsmax, and 77 WABC, and a few other stragglers out there and a couple of podcasts, except for us. Talk about Horton Hears a Who. Except for us. It's that monolith mainstream media that carries the message and drives the narrative of the Democrats. And it's people like Tony and Silas and TJ and thank God Sid Rosenberg and Mr. Katsimatidis and the other big booming voices here at 77 WABC on the Red Apple Audio Networks fighting a good fight, right? And that's all we can do, lady. And I think the common sense stuff is going to win. It's got to win. It's got to win. And what Trump is doing now, putting a moratorium on bringing, I love it. I love it. The blanket statement about stopping the immigration from third world countries, let it be a broad definition, right? Let it be casting a big wide net without any particulars. Do it. Because it's what's right, and ultimately America will be better for it. Tony, I love when you call in. Thank you so much. When we come back in the next hour, I want to talk to Rich, I want to talk to Pete, and I want to talk to you. I got an envelope here from Kathy Hochul, by the way, the governor of New York. I'm going to open it live on the air. It's right there. I think there's something in there for me and my family. I don't know if it amounts to a hill of beans, but I'm going to see what's in this envelope. We're supposed to get some money back. I don't know. All right. It's another set of midnight on the Red Apple Audio Networks. We'll be back.
This is New York's talk leader, the crown jewel of talk radio. WABC New York, WRCR Haverstraw, 107.1 WLIR Hampton Bays. News first at 59 past the hour. 77 WABC News starts now.
Clearing skies on this Saturday, November 29th. Good morning. I'm Lisa Ritchie. West Virginia National Guardsman Sarah Beckstrom.
News with respect to him.
Andrew Wolf remains in critical condition. The gunman, an Afghan national who worked with the U.S. to fight the Taliban, remains hospitalized as well. A Black Friday demonstration at Apple's flagship Fifth Avenue store Friday escalated into multiple arrests after a coalition of activists staged protests. Get off of her! Activists entered the store and unfurled banners chanting "Apple, Apple, free the Congo." The group accused the company of benefiting from exploitative cobalt mining in the Democratic Republic of Congo and criticized Apple's alleged ties to ICE and President Donald Trump. A pre-trial hearing is set for this Monday in New York State's case against accused killer Luigi Mangione. Details from Mark Mayfield.
The 27-year-old Baltimore man is charged with gunning down United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson in Midtown Manhattan last December and is pleading not guilty. Defense lawyers have filed a motion asking for Mangione, who will be allowed to wear civilian clothing, to be unshackled in court. They'll also argue that a notebook found in his backpack should be suppressed, claiming that Pennsylvania police searched Mangione's backpack without reading him his rights. I'm Mark Mayfield.
Famed New York architect Robert A.M. Stern has died. James Flippin reports.
Officials at the Robert A.M. Stern Architects firm say Stern passed away on Thanksgiving at his Manhattan home. He was 86 years old. Stern, responsible for designing several museums and libraries in the city, the Comcast Center, and the Museum of the American Revolution. And Stern also taught at Columbia University and led Yale's School of Architecture. James Flippin for 77 WABC News.
Singer Katy Perry is suing an 85-year-old disabled veteran over a property dispute. Liz Ronavali has the story.
The singer's demanding $5 million as part of a lawsuit tied to a California home she bought more than 5 years ago. Perry purchased a $15 million home from veteran Carl Westcott in July 2020. He then tried to back out of the sale, claiming he was incompetent due to pain medication he was taking at the time. A judge previously ruled in Perry's favor, and the singer then countersued for over $5 million in legal costs and repair work for the home. Westcott is currently in hospice receiving around-the-clock care. This is not Perry's first legal dispute. Back in 2018, a nun was involved in a lawsuit with the pop singer over the sale of a convent in Los Angeles. That nun collapsed and died during a court appearance related to the case. I'm Liz Radabali for 77 WABC News. With Thanksgiving behind us, we are headed full steam into Christmas. Take a moment and reflect on the year, as Bree Tennis tells us. Try to figure out which list you're on.
According to the Department of Christmas, you could be on Santa's naughty list. They say 1 in 4 Americans believe they've made that list, and that could exclude you from presents and or get you a lump of coal. According to the North Pole, the elves draft the list and Santa approves it on December 4th, but it's not finalized until Christmas Eve, so there's still hope to move your name to the nice list. I'm Bree Tennis.
Now's the time to clean out your closet and do a good deed at the same time. Joe Connolly explains.
Through Sunday, December 14th, donors can drop off new and gently used winter coats and accessories, gloves, hats, scarves, socks, throws, etc. at the Freeport Memorial Library, the North Merrick Public Library, the North Belmore Library, and the Freeport Merrick Rotary Club's headquarters. This way, you'll know donations will be used locally. Organizers say donating a winter coat provides so much more than protection from the winter cold. It shows that you care about your neighbors and sends the recipient a message of hope for a brighter future. I'm Joe Connolly.
In sports, New York Jets cornerback Chris Boyd, who was left critically wounded in a shooting earlier this month outside of a popular Midtown restaurant, is now back in the hospital over the Thanksgiving holiday. Boyd said he was brought back over his health issues, but did not elaborate. Your forecast: overnight, clear and breezy with a low down to 33 degrees. Later today, bright sunshine and the high 43. Sunday looks cloudy with occasional rain, a little drizzle in the afternoon, and the high 48. Partly cloudy skies outside of our Midtown studios. I'm Lisa Ritchie. Remember, the news never stops at WABCRadio.com.
This is John Katsimatidis. Starting off as a small businessman, I never had a fancy ad agency. I did it the way I had to do it. We have been certified by Nielsen to be the #1 talk station in the country. Advertising? If you advertise with WABC, you will be a winner too. Why don't you email me at CATS, C-A-T-S, at WABCRadio.com, and you advertise with winners. You become a winner.
After 60 years in the fur business and over 50 years serving Long Island, John Papa's Furs is closing his stores as John Papa's is retiring. To celebrate his legacy, enjoy an incredible 50 to 90% off store-wide, or buy one garment at the original price and get 2 more of equal or lesser value for free. Yes, free. This once-in-a-lifetime sale is their way of saying thank you for your loyalty and support through the decades. John Papa's Furs at 4838 Sunrise Highway in Sayville, New York. 631-589-48.
It's another side of midnight.
Political humorist TJ McCormick.
Now, to the Bernard McGurk Studios, here's TJ McCormack.
Good morning, and my friends. Hello, family. It is the early morning crew here on another side of midnight all around the United States and the world. 77 WABC studios here in New York, and on the Red Apple Audio Networks, and globally on WABCRadio.com. So welcome, one and all. And in the first hour, it was really just calling it like I see it. And I don't often go like straight into political or party stuff, or like I eventually get there, but I tend to not go. But this morning, hearing Debbie Wasserman Schultz ramble on about, Trump says in the wake of the passing of the National Guardsman, God rest her soul, Sarah Beckstrom, 20 years old, West Virginia. In the wake of that, Trump says some really common sense, straightforward stuff. We're going to stop. We're going to put a moratorium on this. We're going to take a look at all these unvetted 90,000 of them that came from Afghanistan alone. So you know what? Third world is migration. We're tapping the brakes. And Wasserman, well, shouldn't we do it? It's never the president's fault. You have to look at his policies. The reason she basically saying is the reason that young woman, that young woman is dead is because Trump shouldn't have put the troops there in the first place. It's for deciding to stop crime that the Democrat mayor of Washington, D.C. was totally decided and totally against fixing. Here's the difference. Democrats need problems. Democrats need social ills. Democrats need poor people. Democrats need drug addicts. Democrats need criminals on the street. Democrats need broken families. Democrats need reliance on the government. Democrats need problems. Democrats need it. Democrats need you to need them. They don't like bootstraps. They don't like a business to just run free of regulation. And yes, there's a role for regulation. And yes, there's a role for taxes. And yes, you have to maintain a social safety net. Yes, yes. But in a state like New York, where they want you dumb and broke, and they want you in danger, they want your vote. So what do? They built NYCHA housing, New York City, New York State, the worst, most creepy, least efficient, least effective landlords in all the land. It's 30 degrees in New York City this morning. And without a doubt, at some point in the next day or two, we're going to see a story on local news here in New York about families in New York State, New York City Housing Authority, NYCHA, New York City Housing Authority projects. We're going to see stories about people who live in those housing projects without heat and hot water. We're going to see it, and when we go and when reporters go to cover it, they're going to go into an apartment, and on the local news, New Yorkers are going to see apartments with rats, with roaches, with broken walls, with plaster, with paint, with lead paint issues, with mold issues, no heat, no hot water. You're going to see it, it's going to be right in our face, and it's going to be the fault of New York City. It's going to be the fault of Democrats, and it's going to be the fault of the Democrats who elected them. Because as was said in the first hour by Silas and by Tony, the Democrats don't actually care. They don't care. They really actually don't care. Because if they did care, they wouldn't
enact the stupid, dangerous policies and laws that they do. For example, it's a sanctuary state with sanctuary policies. They take $5, $6, $7 billion of taxpayer money and give it to illegals in the form of hotel rooms, debit cards, cell phones, and food. And that's not talking points. That's not me being a Republican. That's not me being some sort of stick-in-the-mud conservative. That's a true fact. Okay? And don't forget, let's just break this down. I'm not reinventing the wheel. I'm certainly no genius like Mark Levin. I'm not a big intellectual. I'm not. But this is the way we can all look at this, and it just backs up what I'm saying. The Democrats clearly and consistently love to peddle the notion that they are the party and the people who are there for the little guy, and whichever form of little guy that takes in that particular conversation. It could be the immigrant. It could be the asylum seeker. It could be a woman. It could be a transgender. It could be whichever little micro niche constituency they claim to advocate for. Almost invariably, every single policy and law that they enact will have a deleterious effect, a disproportionately negative impact on those people, like bail reform. Bail reform. Cashless bail in New York State was sold as some sort of civil rights step forward, some sort of social justice. Well, this party that's supposedly the party for women and the party for poor and minority and vulnerable communities, it's women and poor and minority vulnerable communities that are directly negatively impacted disproportionately by cashless bail. Because cashless bail, when domestic abuser, big bruiser with his white beater t-shirt, right? They're the ones who gave it that name. An animal beats his wife. Cops come, take him down to the station. He tips out the back door of the jail a couple hours later. Where's he going? Is he going to honor the order of protection, if there even is one? Where's he going when he leaves the jail? He's going right back home where the woman, the victim of the domestic abuse, is cowering in a corner, holding her kids closely in a closet somewhere, hoping that that animal doesn't get into the house. And also in New York State, she probably doesn't have the ability to protect herself with a handgun. Same thing with the sanctuary state laws. Illegal immigrants come in, illegal aliens come in. There was a murder in my... Illegal aliens come in, and they take benefits, and they take jobs, and they take money, and they take services from poor and minority people, including legal immigrants and first-generation Americans who are looking to get ahead. And yeah, where I was going a moment ago, there was a murder in my hometown, in Westchester County. And the murderer, and he's the murderer now because he pled guilty about a month ago, that piece of garbage is here illegally. He was kicked out, he was deported, snuck back in, like he was deported like 15 years ago, snuck back in, committed crimes. He was picked up for DUI. He was picked up for assault in different parts of Westchester County. But because Westchester County since 2018 has been a sanctuary county, and we are definitely a sanctuary county because our rule, our law limits the amount of information that the Westchester County authorities will share with federal immigration authorities. Any law that limits the amount of information that you share with feds is by definition, that is the very definition of sanctuary. And this animal was a domestic abuser. Okay, he stayed here in Westchester because he was protected by that law. He could be the animal that he wanted to be. He was living his best animal life. He was living his best life as an animal alien, illegal alien. Committing assault, driving drunk. Eventually comes the night where he beat the daylight out of his girlfriend and then shot her. And shot her 2 boys, killing one of them, 16 years old, actually 15. Put the little brother, who was there who was trying to protect his mom, 14 years old, 13 years old, put him in the hospital for like months. Kid, baseball player, has to learn how to walk again, has to learn how to talk again. And this animal piece of garbage was protected for years. The only reason he was here to commit that murder and commit that crime was because he was protected by a sanctuary law. And that sanctuary law is protected by a dopey Democrat governor and a dopey Democrat county executive and a dopey Democrat legislature and a dopey Democrat board of legislators and every other dopey Democrat that supported that law. God forbid. What a shame. So that's that. Let's quickly, before we take a break, let's talk to Rich in New Jersey. Good morning, line 3. Good morning, Rich.
Hey TJ, a little change of gears here. I don't know if a charity goes awry. On your station, man, at Freehold, New Jersey, a tractor trailer full of toys was stolen for the kiddies. And then they get on and say, we want to make up the difference. You can go fund me this. And every year on the news, years ago, you'd see a reporter in the basement of some church. Somebody stole the toys. And there's an empty room.
Yeah.
It's before the GoFundMe era. And please, to make up the difference, I said to my girlfriend, it's a scam. It never happened. There was never any toys. That's what they do every year. Now, I was involved with the Toys for Tots at the Legion in town in Bergen County. Okay. We would go up to a mountainous town, I'm not going to mention where, overlooking Route 80, and we'd give them out. And I run into a buddy of mine years later. I said, you still doing the Toys for Tots? He goes, no. He goes, why not? Well, the same people were showing up in their nice cars, and we're doing their Christmas shopping for them, basically.
Yeah.
We don't know if the kids were needy or not, but as the kids got older, they picked out an older group of toys for their kids. So they stopped. So just as an observation, I'm saying every year you hear about somebody stealing toys.
Right. And your contention is that it doesn't happen.
I think it's staged, so the reporter comes, they don't know about it, they think it's real.
Well, you got a real conspiracy theory. I got a real conspiracy theory.
Yeah, I mean, it happens every year. Now, who's robbing toys in the middle of the night at some church?
Democrats. Democrats.
Yeah.
Don't be Democrats.
And they, and the immigrant people are going to come and get some toys too. I don't begrudge that, but my father, if he couldn't buy me a toy, you're not getting that toy. I'll get you that toy if I have to. Right. That's how my father was. Anyway.
Yeah, that's nice. All right. Well, listen. I'm glad you vented there. We'll keep an eye on the toy, the stolen toys conspiracies this holiday season. All right, kiddos. We're gonna take a quick break here. This is Another Side of Midnight. When we come back, we got Steve, we got Pete, we got Benny, and we got you. Call 1-800-848-9222. Just like Rich, you can get in. You can talk about whatever you want, or we can talk about doping Democrats ruining our lives. And there's other stuff. Here on Another Side of Midnight with TJ McCormick on the Red Apple Audio Network.
It's Another Side of Midnight.
What if the
future of finance wasn't built around averages, but around you. At Abacus Global Management, we're reshaping financial planning around the most personal data point, your lifespan. But it's more than just insight, it's control. As a technology-driven asset manager, we're empowering investors with an integrated system to take command of your time, your future, your financial destiny. This is a new era of investing. Take control at abacusgm.com. The following is a paid commercial announcement.
Hi, I'm Angie. Did you know a billboard can save a baby's life? It's true. You can make a difference this holiday by helping us spread the pro-life message to reach those who are struggling with an unplanned pregnancy. Our billboards and ads feature our 800 hotline for help, which connects people to pro-life centers nationwide that can assist with free medical help, baby supplies, and more. Won't you join us in this season of giving? Please make a gift today. Visit prolifeacrossamerica.org.
This is 70 WABC Newsroom Extra.
A Texas A&M professor who was fired for talking about transgender rights in her course on early childhood education may be getting her job back. Texas State Representative Brian Harrison is furious.
I'm sick and tired of the liberal inmates running the proverbial asylums in higher education in the state of Texas.
Harrison angry that the school's committee on tenure is disputing the allegations.
Take their recommendation and throw it directly into the circular filing cabinet, if you know what I mean. Put that right in the trash.
Texas A&M University's Committee on Tenure issued a report in the wake of the allegations, saying that the allegations used to justify the firing of Melissa McCool were never proven. That report was sent to the university's president, who has the final say in the matter. James Flippin for 77 WABC News.
It's another side of midnight.
Political humorist TJ McCormick.
Now, to the Bernard McGurk Studios, here's TJ McCormack.
I think Tony is trying to chill me just a bit. Because I'm growling this morning. I'm growling. I'm like, stop it, Democrats. Stop it, Democrats. That's the thing. I don't know. I'm inspired. You know what I'm inspired by the way? And I'm not kissing ass. I am not kissing tusses. I really genuinely am not even, I'm inspired and I'm emboldened to be much more convicted at every opportunity by Sid Rosenberg. I absolutely admire and I envy and I seek to live up to his intellectual honesty. Everything. Never a waver and never a wiggle or a wobble. Sid Rosenberg is the morning legend here in New York City and everywhere he's ever been, but here at 77 WABC. Never a wobble. And he always has the room and the wherewithal intellectually to establish how he can see the other side and he always keeps it there, and it's always business, never personal. And I just recently, when it comes to Mamdani, when it comes to the anti-Semites in New York City, when it comes to Jessica Tisch, the police commissioner, and decisions that are being made there by her and others, and just he has no fear. He's fearless, and he has the courage of his convictions. That's what